Hi, it's the last day of May, and you might think this is a little bit sad thing to see in an orchard, but you know, as the proverb goes, it happens. You know, we all come to the end of our lives, and so do trees. Although sometimes you know, the trees may not last as long as a man, sometimes they might last longer. Here was a row of Red Pippin, otherwise known as Fiesta. Here's a row of Spartan. The two were planted together for pollination, and here's another row. It was another row of Red Pippin. I've dug these out and with an old steel sawn it up, and we're going to be putting these in boxes. They're cut to the right length to go into our wood burner, so they won't be wasted. They'll warm our home. Sometimes when you plant trees too close together, you end up regretting it. I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. These trees were planted 9 feet apart originally. That looked as though they were too far apart then, but later we found it was too close together. Ideally 12 to 15 feet would have been good for these dwarf bushes on Malling 106. Now they are 18 feet apart, which is more than enough room, but that's okay. I'm not worried about the waste because you know, we don't have a problem we don't need to get maximum production here. Incidentally, there's a couple of other little points. This is a double row of Orleans Renat, and you'll note with interest that the flower is fully out. It's just perhaps passing. You've got some blossom on the ground. A lovely fragrance. There's a few bees working in them. Double row of Orleans Renat, and the tree. These are the last trees in bloom. If we look to a tree that's growing next to it, this is this particular specimen is Red Pippin. You can see, hey, look at that! Look at that! It's going to be a good year, all things considered. The heavy set. This will give me some work to do. And just to finish, a little bit on the old pest control. By the way, it's a bit of mildew there. Not too excited about that. You know, fungicide program will control that. But you probably notice it's a bit windy. This is a terrible problem. Today we were going to apply a post-blossom spray. It would have been a good time to have done it. That's to deal with a number of different troubles, basically combined insecticide and fungicide. Obviously we wouldn't spray the trees which are in blossom because there are bees in them. I can see bumblebees now working in the Orleans Renat, and we don't want to harm bees, but we do want to harm various aphids, apple sawfly, maggots, and the dreaded chafer, which thankfully we haven't seen this year after hitting it hard the last 2 years. We seem to be on top of that dreadful pest. But we cannot spray today because it's too windy. And so we didn't put the pre-blossom spray on either because of a combination of me having lots of other things to do that I couldn't cancel, and that I was actually getting paid good money for, which I don't earn from this orchard. You know, family things, weather, and whenever we were ready to spray, the weather was wrong. Whenever the weather was right, we had something else to do. What are the hazards of the amateur orchardist? So on the question, I'll bring this to a close now. There are 3 sizes of orchard: the small, the medium and the large. Nowadays, small, well, put it this way, most of the orchards now are 300 plus acres. And if you've got 300 plus acres and you go for maximum productivity, you can afford to spend £60,000 on a tractor and another £30,000 or £40,000 on a spraying machine and all the rest of it. With a big powerful machine towed behind a big powerful sprayer, you can spray 100 acres in a day. You can do it by night if you have to, if that's when the weather's appropriate. But on a small scale, you've got basically 3 gallon, 15 litre backpack sprayers. There's nothing in between. There used to be a lot of 5 to 10 acre orchards. Now they're nearly all gone. So there isn't really the equipment being manufactured. What we could really do with would be sort of 100 gallon, or do I mean 100 gallon? Yeah, something like that. Or at least a 20 to 50 gallon device that was towed behind a ride-on lawnmower or a four-wheel bike, something like that, which could spray maybe 3 times the speed that we spray at. But as it is, one of our biggest limitations is the sheer difficulty. One final point, do look out for canker and remove it. Dead wood, remove it whenever you can. Okay, I'll be back again later, I hope. Meanwhile, the orchard is looking as lovely as it's ever looked.